Hey guys, Jessica Payne here, doing a quick live. I'll give you an opportunity to come in. I thought I'd talk about all this fun stuff happening on Facebook to give you kind of a little bit of a breakdown of what the heck is going on and what you really need to focus on. Because I've even seen more chatter this morning about people really concerned about what these new rules mean for Facebook. And I've actually spotted, what prompted this was I spotted about the third time I've seen this post in a group, in a professional group I belong to, where some bad advice is being handed around. So I figured I'm going to jump on today, give you a couple of 3 mistakes I'm seeing. People are reacting incorrectly to the Facebook rule changes, and 3 quick ideas of how you can tweak your strategy right now to leverage Facebook. And I'm very conscious that my face looks like it's on the surface of the sun because we've got a ton of sun in my studio at the moment. So how about I change? God, that's worse. How about this? Okay. And now I'm in the shadow. So I'm going to move with the sun. Look, what about? Okay, I'm not moving from this spot. And I just hope that I'm going to see comments when they come in. If you have a comment, write in. But okay, so essentially, you guys, if you're worried about what these rules, these changes on Facebook mean, or maybe you're just getting wind of it, here's essentially the breakdown of what happened. Facebook, Zuckerberg, announced last week that they are essentially going back to their roots, is the easiest way that I can describe it. So take a step back from all you've heard about Facebook and just understand maybe the why and what they're doing. Put yourself in the shoes, step away from your Facebook page or your group that you manage and put yourself back into the shoes of you, the Facebook user, maybe when you first signed up. Okay? So instead of talking about business page, I'm focusing on myself, Jessica Payne, as the user. I think all of us have been really annoyed and frustrated by how Facebook has taken shape. We're annoyed at the spam, the news stories, and the lack of engagement, okay? And we've been very vocal. You may have written to Facebook, you may have liked or shared an article. So understand Facebook is a business. They're going to figure out ways for us businesses and organizations to make money using their tools. But essentially what they've announced as of last week is they're pivoting back to really what their roots are, and that is creating genuine connection and conversation. So just remember that. So that's why I firmly believe these changes aren't a bad thing. There are a lot of people saying these are terrible, Facebook is dead, when in reality Facebook is getting right back to the roots of when it started, or I should say when it went public. I remember when I first joined Facebook, I don't think you could even post a photo or even link out. I think it was really just conversation between friends. It was sort of the answer to other friendship groups. It was the first social network that I actually ever joined after MySpace, if you can even remember that. So Facebook is going back to its roots. It's focusing on conversations. Now here's where I can break down what I'm seeing. I'm already seeing mistakes being made. I think people are just rushing to try to outmaneuver, outmanipulate Facebook's algorithm. And I really want to say for you, don't stress too much about it. All you need to do is focus on what has always been, or what always should be, the focus of your strategy on Facebook, and that is generating genuine conversation. So conversation is a big, ambiguous word. It's like authenticity. What the heck does that mean? So let me break it down for you. These are strategies I'm using in my own page. At the end of the day, Facebook prefers several things to happen, and this is wrapped around the latest announcement. Facebook is now going to prefer certain behavior over others, and so if you're smart, you run a page or a group or a profile, you're going to want to know what those behaviors are, because essentially Facebook will favor that, and that will result in your content being seen more frequently. Facebook can be a very complicated place, but at the end of the day, you're posting, we're all posting something, with the hope that it gets in front of as many eyeballs as possible. And that has essentially traditionally been the feed. Okay? So again, think about the roots of Facebook are really, it's a social network where a lot of us make money and grow our organizations and use it for business, but at the end of the day, it's a social network. And Zuckerberg is saying we're pivoting back to conversation and real engagement and real conversation. Okay? So here are several bad practices I'm seeing, and here's what you can do on the flip side. first and foremost, do not ditch your page or group. All that hard work, all that money, all that time you've put into it, maybe you've run campaigns, you have a store, a shop, it doesn't mean you need to abandon your professional entities on Facebook. Something tells me, and if I was a betting woman, I'd bet money on this, that Facebook is going to announce right after this, because they are hearing the blowback from it, right? They want us to make money, so we continue to use their social network. They will come out with a series of announcements, maybe even new features, bells and whistles, that we as group admins, page admins, whatever, can now use, okay? Because at the end of the day, they see us as a value. But again, we need to obey their rules if we want to remain on Facebook, okay? So first and foremost, do not abandon your professional pages or groups. You've done all that hard work to bring people together, and ideally, I doubt any of you have just brought people to your page or group and not done anything. You're probably already still providing conversations of value. You just need to understand that the emphasis now is on conversations, that you need to spend probably a lot more time thinking about driving real-time conversations on your page and in your group rather than using it as a way to link out to your blog and YouTube channel. I'll get to that in a second, okay? So for all of you who are aware with business funnels, you're going to have to rip that Band-Aid off. But again, if you've kind of automated your sequences, it seems like the people freaking out the most about this are those who have kind of like set it and forget it. They use their Facebook pages or profiles or groups as a way to kind of move traffic through beyond to their sites. And Facebook understands that. And you're not going to be able to do that anymore, or at least you can try, but your content's not going to be preferred. Okay? So do not abandon your professional entities. And with that, please don't. I've seen this advice shared several times. People are saying, oh, well, now all you should use is your personal profile. Please don't. Because, I mean, just picture if all of your friends who run businesses started flooding their personal feeds with stuff they're selling, or it's annoying, right? And Facebook is probably going to crack down on that next, because again, at the end of the day, they want to bring back these conversations. And take your business hat off, put your just casual Facebook user hat on. You don't want to see that in your feed either, okay? So don't do that. That's probably the worst advice I've seen floating around. Yes, use your personal profile if it's appropriate to promote your business page, a cause, whatever, but don't turn that into your primary channel. You're going to annoy the heck out of your family and friends, who will probably let you know sooner rather than later. And you're essentially starving others of really getting to know you in a more organic way. Our profiles are not where we should spam. It's essentially spamming of what you're doing. Unwanted advertisements promoting your business on your profile, that's spam. Okay, so that's another piece of advice, a bad habit I'm seeing. Another bad habit I'm seeing is folks are starting to just try anything to get reactions out of people, and it's kind of it's annoying, but it's also it can actually backfire. So people, the latest thing I'm seeing now are people are just kind of posting random questions like, "Hey, what time do you get up in the morning?" Or what's your favorite nail polish color? You know, and it's like these are people who aren't in. It's like these are people where that question just looks completely random because they have never posted anything like that before, and B, it's like you have no business talking about nail polish. It just looks like you're trying too hard. I do like the idea of posting questions, and that leads me into here are the top 3 things that you can do. Again, remembering that conversation, real-time conversation, driving back and forth, comments are now being preferred. This is the preferred action. Here's my first tip. All you need to do is think about what is of the most value to your audience, and this is nothing new. And then think about, okay, now what does Facebook prefer I use, and how can you connect the dots? So here's a perfect example, going back to questions. If you always get the same 5 questions asked on your page or in your group, why don't you turn those questions into 5 10-minute live streams? Something like this. Announce it, do a little promotion, do a post, jump in your stories, mention it, talk about the 5 questions that you're always asked, because that is a value. The fact that you're always asked the same 5 questions should tell you there's demand for clarity, right? So why don't you create 5 I call them vignettes, or little mini episodes on live over the next 5 days, over the next couple weeks, where you answer those 5 questions, and provide more information. This is something that you can refer back to in future Facebook posts. So again, you're not wanting to link out anymore. You can just link back to this post or this video to drive views. You're keeping people on Facebook, and you don't have to keep answering the same 5 questions. So you've kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, you can repurpose this content later, but again, you're delivering it. The value is answering those top 5 questions. The method of how Facebook prefers is you're delivering it in a way that Facebook loves. Live. If you had a hierarchy of things that Facebook loved, it used to be just keep people on Facebook, and now that's changed with these new rules. Now you want to keep people on Facebook, but now you need to be smart about how you get people to spend their time on Facebook. And the first one is it's not just sitting time on your channel. It's not just watching videos anymore. It's actually driving conversation. So answering those questions in your lives, be prepared to have prompts in your lives to ask questions and generate comments. So if you're teaching a lesson, let's say one of the questions you're asked is, what's the top thing I should cut out of my diet this year? Let's say you're a nutritionist or whatever. Well, your first live should explain what you normally answer, and then why don't you put prompts in your actual broadcast, and this just takes a few minutes to think about in advance, to generate comments, because that'll tell Facebook not only is this powerful content, but you're generating interactions. Aha, this Facebook page or group is worth promoting and preferring and pushing out onto the feed. And that goes back just at the end of the day, we post stuff and we hope people see it. I mean, that's really the strategy on Facebook. Okay, so if you're that nutritionist and you're covering that first lesson about what people should cut out in their diet, an example of a question or prompt you could say in your lesson is, tell me what you're struggling with. Tell me what is a part of your diet that you've struggled to shed, or what in your diet do you think has the most sugar content? Okay, just ask questions that you probably already would via conversation, but then the call to action, give it verbally. Don't put it in the post because Facebook doesn't like that. Give it verbally and then prompt people. Literally say, comment down. What is the piece? What is food in your diet that you're still struggling to shed in 2018? Leave it in the comments. And then what you can do as a professional is you can collect all those information, reply back to each and every person, and then what you're doing is you're not only providing value to your listeners, which should be the goal, but you're also triggering Facebook's algorithm, telling it, this is powerful content, I'm generating real-time conversation, you need to prefer it, you need to push it out in the feed. So that's a good practice. Another practice I'm seeing is if you're nervous about live, which is what this is, try Facebook stories. Okay, you've probably seen it on Instagram if you haven't already. Okay, think about what you see, the real estate of what you see when you jump on Facebook. 99% of the time, you're probably on a mobile device. And think about what you see. You normally see your feed, and then what's at the top of the screen? You see those circles. I would say if there's prime real estate on Facebook, it is those circles, because that's where our eyeball falls every single time. You can see who's live, like you've probably got a live notification that I was live or am live right now if you're joining. Or you see who's posted a story. Instagram stories, this is why stories are extremely popular. Some say Instagram stories are more popular than actual posts on Instagram. Same for Facebook. If you think about where your eye falls, let's say if you jump on Facebook for 20 seconds, you're going to look at a few things. You're going to quickly thumb through your feed, and then you're going to see those circles at the top, and maybe it's a friend of yours. Oh, and if they're live, you're that much more tempted to jump on it. Or if you see that a page you love or a celebrity you follow has posted a story, chances are in those 20 seconds, you're going to check out that story before you crawl deep into your feed. So, live and stories. One thing I've seen is, I'm a huge fan of Roberto Blake, and I'll give him a shout out in my comments in this video. He's been doing really cool quick vignettes. So he'll do about 20 quick vignettes where he basically is doing a live, but it's via a story. And each vignette is maybe 15 seconds long, and it's really, really powerful content, mostly on Instagram, but I've been watching every single one because it's like, even if I can't join Roberto live, I'm actually still seeing his content. And the main reason why I'm tapping on it is his face is one of the first things I see when I go on Instagram. So that's your second tip. Start to leverage stories. Okay, and if you're nervous about live, stories are great because you can shoot until you're happy with it. Okay, so you still get that live element and the same exact visibility you get with live. but it's somewhat edited. Okay, so I get it. If you're not a live fan, if you don't, you can still jump on stories. And by the way, you don't have to be on camera to do stories. I think I'm going to do a tutorial in coming days about how to create more visual graphics on stories. It's stuff I do for other clients. But it's still animated. It's still moving. And again, you can't beat that real estate. You don't have to pay for that real estate to get on top of the feeds. And not as many brands or professionals are using stories yet. So think about it. If you're the only lawyer or doctor or nutritionist in your industry who's leveraging stories, you're not competing with anybody. It's amazing. So start to leverage live and stories. That's my second tip. And my third tip is really this. In the industry, PR industry, we call it community management. We're really just talking about community management. And it's really easy to overthink this whole thing of like, oh, Facebook is dead, abandoned ship. It's like, no, it's not. The people who are freaking out the most maybe have walked away from their content strategy, and that's totally fine, but you have every opportunity now to take advantage of it. And all you're doing is just rethinking the type of content you're putting out. For all those group admins, like I am, community managers, who maybe your deliverable is delivering what we call editorial content, editorial calendars, static content is not dead. And when I say static content, I mean posts, I mean graphics, I mean non-live content. It's still here to stay, but just rethink now what should be in your posts, and essentially how can you complement what you're already doing to drive discussion. I think that's where asking those questions can actually help. So that's my third tip. Just remember what is of value to your users, but now you need to emphasize what can we do in a way that's organic, drive on page, in group, on profile conversation. So likes and shares and views are still valid, but Facebook actually prefers comments and conversations. So again, rethink your content strategy. Think more about conversations and how you can keep those going. Asking questions is fantastic, but make sure they make sense. Choose the right channels. Choose the right setting. Don't spam your personal profile. Use the power and the real estate of live and stories. I'm telling you guys, since I started stories and since I started live, engagement on my page, I basically resuscitated engagement on my page. It was flatlining, just like a bunch of yours. And again, I knew something was up when Facebook started to really, really push live streaming. And then when I saw my engagement numbers dipping about 6 months ago, and that's what really prompted me to embrace live. So there really are no surprises, but I think for those of us caught flat-footed, I think just remember community management is where it's at, conversation is where it's at. So again, I'm going to be talking more about this. I want to also give a shout out to Robert Stern, who I've posted a link. He's actually covered this breakdown quite well, and he's actually given some really cool actionable next steps. Again, I'll link to that in my post, and I'm going to link to, if you're going to notice, I'm going to link to that actual Facebook post. Again, so just model your strategies after mine too. Notice what I'm doing. It's all to help you kind of master the new rules of Facebook. Okay, so don't sweat it. Facebook is not dead. It's here to stay. Just rethink how you want people to spend their time and how you're going to actually drive conversation. Okay, so any questions for me, let me know. I'll be here. I'll be doing more videos on this. Thanks for watching live. For those of you watching this on the replay, let me know, and here's your prompt, let me know in the comments what specifically you want me to cover when it comes to Facebook, or if you want me to cover more on Facebook Live. I'm always talking about live because it's sort of my focus now, but for those community managers, group admins out there, I know you're worried about getting your engagement back up. So let's talk about it. Let's workshop this, and I can use it in my next live, okay? So that should do it for me. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Let me know of any questions as they crop up, but we're going to beat this thing. Don't worry about it. Facebook is here. It's actually going to be a very powerful tool for you, okay? So more on this channel. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.